Michael, it has happened again. A suspected career criminal out on bond caught committing more crimes. Tonight, a passenger in his car is dead after the driver with an extensive criminal history fled.
NBA DDwag's homie trusted him with everything he had, and that same trust ended up getting him smoked on camera, turning his entire world upside down. The viral footage blowing up right now isn't just another clip floating around the internet, it's a brutal reminder of how one choice can flip a man's life inside out. This wasn't some random street scuffle or a petty argument gone wrong. The leaked video cracks open a darker truth inside hip-hop culture, a place where loyalty becomes dangerous, brotherhood becomes a battlefield, and friendship can twist into something fatal. Stick with me, because the real reason this footage even exists and why it's resurfacing at this exact moment reveals just how reckless and unpredictable these so-called 4KT soldiers can be. But to understand how everything spiraled like this, you have to look at it through the eyes of NBA YoungBoy himself. In the unforgiving trenches of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, real loyalty is almost extinct. But when YoungBoy crossed paths with DeAndre Fields, better known as DDwag, something different took root. This wasn't some clout-driven industry bond built on favors or hype. Their connection was formed in the dirt, sharpened by danger, strengthened by bullets, and proven through years of surviving chaos that most people couldn't handle for a day. Their story runs all the way back to YoungBoy's earliest grind, long before the platinum plaques, long before the billions of streams, long before the world even knew the name Cantrell. Back then he was just another kid from the bottom trying to rap his way out of poverty and violence. And DDwag was right there with him, not as a fan, not as an opportunist, but as real family. What made their bond stand out was DDwag's pure loyalty. While everyone else around YoungBoy seemed to have hidden intentions, secret agendas, or something they wanted in return, DDwag kept it simple. He wasn't trying to be a rapper. He wasn't chasing handouts. He wasn't positioning himself for fame. He was just a solid friend, no strings, no schemes, just realness in a world where that's almost impossible to find. That kind of genuine bond is priceless in an industry where most connections are temporary, built on clout, convenience, or mutual gain. But DDwag's story goes far deeper than being just YoungBoy's loyal day one. Later medical evaluations revealed that DDwag had the cognitive development of a 10-year-old, a condition that shaped many of his decisions and made his loyalty to YoungBoy even more intense. Like a child who clings to the person who makes them feel safe, DDwag's attachment to Cantrell wasn't just friendship, it was something closer to family, rooted in dependence, trust, and survival. But DDwag's life wasn't defined by loyalty alone. His long, complicated history with the justice system played an even bigger role. From a young age, growing up in Baton Rouge with limited cognitive abilities put him in the crosshairs of both the streets and the system, two forces that quickly exploited his vulnerability. His criminal record became a textbook example of how young men with developmental challenges get pulled into cycles of arrests, probation violations, and repeat incarceration. His first serious arrest happened when he was still a teenager, caught up in low-level drug activity that's normalized in poverty-stricken neighborhoods. What should have been handled as a juvenile case involving someone with clear special needs instead marked the beginning of a criminal file that would only grow thicker. Every new charge stacked on top of the last, creating a pattern prosecutors used to argue for harsher punishments and higher bonds. The real key to understanding DDwag's legal struggles is that diagnosis. Living with the cognitive abilities of a child while navigating one of America's most dangerous cities created a nearly impossible situation. He was expected to make high-stakes decisions, understand complex legal risks, and handle adult responsibilities with the mental tools of someone far younger. This wasn't an excuse, wasn't some defense tactic, it was a documented medical reality that explained his behavior, his reactions, and the choices that kept pulling him deeper into trouble. DDwag often acted on impulse because he couldn't fully process consequences. He trusted people who meant him harm because he couldn't see their intentions. And he ended up in dangerous situations again and again because he lacked the cognitive ability to evaluate risk or protect himself the way an adult normally would. His life became a tragic collision between innocence and a world built to punish, not protect, people like him. The tragic irony is that the very condition that should have earned DDwag extra protection instead made him even more exposed both to the streets and to the justice system. What should have been grounds for specialized care turned into another weakness for predators and prosecutors to exploit. Rather than receiving the support he clearly needed, DDwag was pushed through the same system built for fully capable adults, and the results were as predictable as they were heartbreaking. As NBA YoungBoy's career began to skyrocket, DDwag remained one of the few constants in his circle. While other people appeared and disappeared depending on YoungBoy's success, drama, or legal pressure, DDwag never moved. He was there through everything: the early mixtape grind, the breakthrough hits, the runaway fame, and the courtroom battles that threatened to shut it all down. DDwag's position in YoungBoy's world wasn't something you'd find on a payroll sheet. He wasn't a manager, a security guard, or a creative partner. He was simply family. And in YoungBoy's universe, family carries far more weight than any business title ever could. He brought something money will never be able to buy: pure, uncomplicated loyalty from someone who wanted nothing in return. No hidden motives, no clout chasing, no angle. Just real devotion. At the same time, DDwag grounded YoungBoy. As fame multiplied and life became more chaotic, DDwag remained a living reminder of the simplicity and authenticity of their beginnings. In a world packed with industry plants, fake friends, and opportunists, his childlike honesty was rare and deeply valuable. That YoungBoy understood DDwag's vulnerability, and he stepped into a protective role that went far beyond normal friendship. He made sure DDwag had money, a place to stay, and legal backing whenever trouble came knocking. More importantly, he tried to provide structure, the kind of guidance DDwag's cognitive challenges made essential. In many ways, YoungBoy became the stabilizing adult figure DDwag had needed his entire life. DDwag got locked up, and it happened more than once. YoungBoy's reaction never changed: unwavering support, loud loyalty, and a refusal to turn his back. But the clearest expression of that bond came through music. YoungBoy dropped Free Dog, a record that wasn't some quick shout-out or social media gesture, but a full artistic statement about brotherhood, pain, and dedication. On the track, YoungBoy poured out his frustration with the legal system, his hurt over DDwag's situation, and his determination to do whatever it took to bring him home. The song worked on multiple levels: a message to DDwag, a declaration to the public, and a statement of YoungBoy's personal values. It also showcased what sets YoungBoy apart in the rap game. Plenty of artists talk about loyalty. Plenty rap about brotherhood. But very few stand on it when things get real. YoungBoy did. And Free Dog proved that when he calls someone family, he means it no matter the cost. Free Dog wasn't just a song, it was YoungBoy's way of proving that his loyalty isn't a performance. It isn't for clout. It isn't a brand. It's real, it's heavy, and it comes with a cost he's willing to pay every single time. The track also became a form of therapy for him. While YoungBoy was facing his own legal battles, public pressure, and private stress, creating music about DDwag's situation allowed him to process everything. Instead of letting anger or frustration eat him alive, he poured those emotions into something creative, something that honored his friend and gave him relief. A cycle that wouldn't end throughout their entire friendship. DDwag's recurring legal problems created a familiar pattern: arrest, bond, release, repeat. And every time the cycle restarted, YoungBoy stepped in. He handled the bail. He paid for lawyers. He showed up emotionally when everyone else disappeared. And each time DDwag walked out of jail, he came right back to YoungBoy with the same loyalty, the same gratitude, the same unwavering devotion. But this pattern wasn't just about money, even though YoungBoy quietly spent massive amounts keeping DDwag afloat. It was about family. It was about the code that runs YoungBoy's inner circle, a code built on responsibility, shared history, and the understanding that when one person makes it out, they don't leave their people behind. YoungBoy wasn't just helping a homie, he was protecting someone who couldn't fully protect himself. DDwag's cognitive limitations made the whole situation even more heartbreaking. He didn't always understand the consequences of his actions or the seriousness of the charges he faced. His decisions were often made with childlike reasoning. He trusted people he shouldn't have because he couldn't see their motives, and he stepped into dangerous situations without realizing the risks. YoungBoy knew this better than anyone. He knew DDwag's loyalty was pure, but his judgment wasn't. And that's exactly why YoungBoy felt such a deep responsibility to guide him, shield him, and keep him close. The streets of Baton Rouge and their unforgiving reality. To understand what happened next and why DDwag's story turned out the way it did, you have to understand the world they were navigating. To understand DDwag's story, you have to understand the environment that shaped both him and YoungBoy. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, especially the neighborhoods they came up in, is one of the harshest urban landscapes in America. Years of poverty, limited opportunities, gun accessibility, and non-stop neighborhood conflicts create a world where young men like DDwag live under constant pressure. For someone with DDwag's cognitive challenges, that danger wasn't just present, it was multiplied. The street politics that most young men navigate through intuition, experience, or survival instincts were impossible for DDwag to understand. With the mental development of a 10-year-old, he struggled to read people, recognize warning signs, or make the calculated decisions necessary to stay safe. He couldn't sense tension before it exploded, and he couldn't identify threats until they were already in front of him, and being close to YoungBoy came with its own risks. The ongoing conflicts between NBA's camp and rival factions meant anyone connected to YoungBoy automatically carried a target on their back. DDwag, because of his loyalty and proximity, inherited those dangers despite not fully grasping them. His cognitive limitations meant he couldn't assess the severity of these threats or take the steps someone else might take to protect themselves. This combination, the environment, the street politics, the ongoing rivalries, and his mental capacity created a reality where DDwag lived in constant vulnerability. His loyalty to YoungBoy offered protection in some moments, but in others it placed him directly in harm's way, facing pressures his mind wasn't equipped to handle. The night that changed everything forever, October 15, 2023. A date that would shift DDwag's entire life, turning him from YoungBoy's loyal childhood friend into a fugitive facing nearly $20 million in bond. That night, he was riding through Baton Rouge with a homie, expecting nothing more than a normal evening. Instead, the night spiraled into a high-speed catastrophe that left one person dead and shattered multiple families. DDwag was already on thin ice. He was out on bond from previous charges, trying to avoid trouble, support his family, and stay close to YoungBoy's circle without drawing more heat. But the pressures around him, the environment, the expectations, the dangers were closing in fast. And that night, everything he was trying to hold together collapsed in an instant. But on this particular evening, everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and the consequences were more devastating than anyone could have imagined. According to DDwag's own account, he was simply driving through his neighborhood when an unmarked police vehicle